everybody. It's our immense pleasure to welcome you all for today's webinar series in July. And it's our wonderful opportunity that today we will going to discuss and we'll able to learn so many things from Dr. Madhurima Chowdhury, Assistant Professor in the Department of Southeast Asian Studies, University of Calcutta. Her area of research includes educational rights of scheduled caste and scheduled tribe, ethnicity, environmental rights and policy, etc. She has recently completed a project on comparison of environmental rights in India with the land alienation rights of Bangladesh. She has recently completed a project under UGC UPE2 on sustainability, environment and development, a review of Southeast Asian situations and policy paradigm. She has already published so many research articles in her own credit in national, international level. And it's our wonderful opportunity to learn so many things from Dr. Madhurima Chowdhury. She is also my senior, and I'm really happy to welcome her for today's webinar series session in July month. And web platform for dialogue, as we all know, it's a forum for without any kind of prejudice, without any kind of judgment. We'll just share and the thought process, whatever would be in our coming in our mind in this particular pandemic crisis period. So let's utilize this pandemic and let's have an opportunity to learn so many things from Dr. Chowdhury. So I welcome you, Dr. Chowdhury, for today's webinar series, and the floor is open to you now.
Thank you, Swati. Well, good evening to everybody and the organizing committee with Swati for her kind words and giving me this opportunity to present, this topic in this webinar. Now, let me start by saying that this COVID-19 has various effects on different sections and levels of our society. Now, some are good while others are bad. Now, today's topic, as already seen by you, will be mostly on the sustainability and the positive and negative effects or impacts of COVID-19 on our environment. And I have kept that middle arrow because there might be something which is between positive and negative effects, might be something which is ambiguous, a middle path or whatever. That is the reason why I have kept that a small arrow and have not written anything on that. While discussing, we might get into it. Next, what has COVID-19 given us? The first thing that COVID-19 has given us is the lockdown. After that, COVID-19 has given us mostly negative, starting with economic crisis, death toll, ill health, social distancing. Where in the first stages we saw that social distancing meant that you can stop talking over phone, you cannot talk cool with people, and there was issues where social distancing meant mental distancing, physical distancing, everything together. Now also it meant wearing of masks. Sometimes people used to say that there is shortage of breath while having that mask on all the time. After that, there was work from home resulting in obesity. There are family problems getting on high, online teaching resulting an urge to understand that the interest of children is it's going out from them. And however, one thing which it did good was people started understanding sanitization, cleanliness, sterility, keep themselves healthy. But one thing which I definitely felt was the last part where it's written, I thought that home quarantine is Netflix and chill. That is one thing which I thought in the in first when the lockdown started. But then after few days passed, I thought, no, this is not only Netflix and chill, but there are very interesting things and facts. There was one story which was going on in WhatsApp and Facebook. There was a little child, and this child was supposed to, his online classes were supposed to start, and he has to sit there with his school uniform on. Now his mother was searching for his pant, So this child said ki ma, you just don't worry, because ma'am is going to see the top portion and not the bottom portion of mine. So it's of no use to wear a pant. Just give me some random pant, and I'll just go and sit for the for my school. So this mentality is really changing of the children that I can see. And I don't know, it's for good, bad, worse, or what, that time will tell and reveal. Next is what I've done is sustainability. Now, sustainability was first, commented by Thomas Malthus while talking about theory of population in the year 1798. Now, then after we could see sustainability in Rutland Report in 1987. And it definitely has three dimensions: social, economic, and environmental. This slide is coming very slow. I don't know why. I think the net is down, so might be the slide is coming a bit slow.
It's okay. It's okay.
I'm very sorry for that. Uh,
It's coming
so
well
it has
here.
three dimensions.
Yes.
Yes, it's coming, but it's very slow. I'm very sorry for that. Very, very sorry. First one was social, economic, and then was environmental. Where through the years, the last one became very important and is usually defined as maintenance of natural capital. Now, the sustainable environment is a necessary prerequisite to a sustainable socio-economic system. And sustainability has a different meaning for science and practicability, and rose to prominence with the modern environmental movement. Now, in the last decade, the environmental degradation has seen extraordinary global trends. Approaching sustainability is very, very urgent. Now, now that the slide has come, let me just tell you what I have tried to show in this slide is that sustainability is of different types, starting from environmental, economical, cultural, sociological, psychological, mental, emotional. There are different phases of sustainability. While I have taken only environmental, and the arrow which is in the middle, it shows that sustainable. We need a sustainable planet. How humans are actually will be benefited, or how planet will be benefited in sustainability, that is a interrelated part of our world and earth now. So this is what I've tried to depict, that sustainability at this point of time is very, very, very important. Next, we get into sustainable development. Now, sustainable development, I have divided sustainable development into three major phases. Now, the first, or the history of concepts with sustainable development, is associated with the first one being the economic theories given by Smith, Marx, Malthus, Ricardo, etc., who recognized the boundaries of development and environmental requirements through the activities of Roman Club. And then the first UN conference on the human environment took place in Stockholm in 1972. The next phase was very, very important, and it came years after the Stockholm conference, when researchers started using the term eco development. And in 1980, the International Union for Conservation of Nature set an idea of linking economies and the environment through sustainable development. Now, this phase was a very important phase, because this was the phase when they started awareness and concerns about the negative impact of socio-economic development on environment, or on our planet, as a matter of fact. Now, the third stage was the Rutland Report, and it lasts until today and included very many several important events and points. Now, environmental condition at present. Now, it is environment is of course a very complex of many variables which surrounds man and other organisms, with the environmental problems like natural disasters, and assuring of different resources like vegetable overusing of different resources like vegetables, fish, change in the ecosystem, hampering the natural environment and impacting human lives. Now, major global environmental issues are economic development, population, industrialization, urbanization, deforestation, and intensification of agricultural activities, soil erosion, water pollution, air pollution, which are very common of environmental conditions, negative impacts, of course. Sustainability is being challenged because of these environmental issues. Now, this I have made a chronology of international events where you can see that this chronology, uh, in the first half, what we can see is that mostly environmental issues or environment or climate, these were all related mostly with development, and it was not thought as a separate entity or a separate aspect which should be dealt with. Now, from this 1987 or Brundtland report, first started to, you know, direct things on environment or climate. The first Rio conference, it showed more on environment. Then there was Kyoto Protocol, which said more of reduction on greenhouse gases. Then we had G20, R plus Rio plus 20. At the same time, 2015 gave us Sustainable Development Summit, Conference of Climatic Change. People started thinking more about environment and climate, and we're not relating it to developmental aspects, but more of a separate entity, and it should be dealt on that level. So this was something which was over the years, it was changing, and of course, it is a matter of concern for us and also for the next generation. What we are leaving for them is it's a bit of a concern now. And the last one was 2030 agenda, which has to be achieved in sustainable development goal, or we also say it as 2030 agenda. And of course, sustainable development goals have different aspects which has to be reached and which has to be taken care of, and which definitely included environment as one of the basic and major roles. Next is, let me go to the negative impacts of COVID-19. Now, COVID-19, this is also very slow. I'm also sorry for that. I think the time I'll finish negative effects, it won't be coming also. However, let me just start with that. Now, COVID-19 has definitely marked a change in people's livelihood. Now, be it social, ecological, or financial. Now, due to the loss of income and financial welfare, is definitely had a blow, and this blow is hampering the behavior among people. Shortage of money, people are curtailing down their requirements into basic necessities. Of course, we have always known that our basic necessities was food, clothing, and shelter. And in the recent times, you would see that people have definitely curtailed down on their requirements, because requirements now is might be a luxury for most of us. So we stick mostly to the basic necessities of, food, of the clothing. I don't know, there are lots of sale going on. How many of us has actually bought something from that? That remains a question. So, people are now not thinking more of extravagance, but mostly thinking of necessities. What is the priority that has to be met? Because people want to keep that cash. Once if anything bad happens, then they can use that cash and have good health checkups and all that. Now, people are also using vegetables and fruits which are just available nearby their home, and has stopped using exotic or unseasonal fruits and veggies. People have started thinking more about me and mine. Okay, that is the reason where individuality comes in. Now, this individuality actually, now people have, definitely is thinking less on how, all the things are going to come in, but they mostly think of what will happen to my family, what will happen to me if this goes on, how will I suffice, how will I manage to do these things. So that is what is making people more individualistic, and they are thinking more of my and my family, my immediate, my relatives and all that. Now, also, uh, with this, we have stopped our public transport. Few of them are running, of course, but then people have started using their cars, their own cars, their bikes more often. They don't use this public transport anymore, and it's also very few. So of course, people will use their cars and bikes. So what are they doing is that in urge of using their own things, the age old cars are now coming out, and with this they are creating more pollution than it used to be with the public transport pollution. So this is one point which is adjacent with which is just related with individuality and use of my things and all that. Also mm, with the increased with COVID-19, there has been an increase in poverty, of course. Situation of most of the country, and in the near future it can be seen that this poverty or this shortage of money is actually they are helping the people who are actually will be interested in felling of trees, poaching wildlife, uh, uh, might get hampered because we are not keeping too much of notice in the forest areas. So there might be an attempt of you know uh, what should I say, cutting down of trees, so that they can gain some interest over that. Animals are also attacked. Now with this increase of poverty, unemployment, and shortage of money, people are becoming very stressed out. There was so much of news of different mental stressed incidents and disappointments which ultimately led to suicide and other stuff. People are becoming weak, as they are it's a long time that people are staying at their homes, and mentally they are becoming very very weak. And with this, what they have started is consuming more food. This was one thing which in our childhood also we learned that in psychology they said that if you're alone you tend to eat more food. If you're alone you tend to shop a lot. So children's might not shop, they eat more, while we can shop more. But because we cannot shop more now because of this lockdown and all that, people started having too much of food, and also just putting too much of stress and pressure in their mental conditions also. Now also the use of organic food, it has stopped, because people are thinking that let's not waste that amount of money in organic food, but have something which is locally available. And in doing so, they are using the cold storage, potatoes and other vegetables which are already stored in there for months. And foods are also stored in cold storages, and we are using that because it comes and it's a bit cheaper than the organic foods that comes in. So this is also hampering our health, and ultimately in the long run we'll see that it has definitely damaged something in our body. Now, during this lockdown period, one thing which could be understood is the last one, which is increase in population. Now and you should know, we all know that population is definitely directly related with sustainability, because if population increases you use more of natural resources, and ultimately natural resources goes into not being sustainable. And that is how population is definitely one very important negative effects of this COVID-19, I think. Next, we go into the positive effects. Now, with all this negativity happening around us, let's see what good things has happened to us. We start off with reduced pollution. Pollution of different kinds: air pollution, sound pollution, reduced, greenhouse gases. These are all reduced without any doubt. Now, as because of public transport, not many of us are moving or going to our offices. So what happens is that the pollution has definitely decreased. Now honking has definitely stopped. Most of us are working from home, so of course the air is mostly clear, but it is not it won't be very apt to say that sitting in Kolkata I can see Kanchenjunga. But then of course the air is definitely cleared out. I stay at 8th floor, and when I wake up in the morning around 5:30, the air is definitely clear, and you can see like a long distance, you can see. Now the next thing being is that most of us, especially Bengalis, have a bad habit of traveling. and they usually have a habit of spending their weekend, summer vacation, winter vacation, some place, not in their home, but definitely some tourist place. And for this, what is with the increase in population, what they are started, the businessmen, it's they are starting to build up more hotels, more restaurant, more eat outs. And with this, of course, it's definitely hampering the natural resources. With this lockdown period, it has stopped. So over tourism is one thing which has stopped, and it's definitely for very which is good. Now nature is resting. With the minimum necessities of people, the intensification in agriculture and fishing all have also decreased a lot. Now things, because more of these, the shrimps, lobsters, these are the ones which used to get exported, you know and has to be fished. And it's too much of overfishing of shrimps and lobsters. So with the decreased interest in export, what happens is that overfishing has stopped and the waters are mostly clear. And also in the agricultural section, we can say that chemicals, pesticides you have to give, but then chemicals which were used to make things bigger and more, definitely has stopped, because we are trying to be more of the locally available foods and veggies that we wish to eat now. So then agricultural fields are also gaining their nutrient, and the quality of soil is also becoming good. Now, with less population and minimum climatic change, people have started using less of ACs. If you have, recently, if you have seen that, many of I have noticed that we are using our AC a bit less, at least at night, and sometimes might be in the afternoons when it's very hot. Previously, we used to have lots, the ACs were on for very many hours, but now it has definitely been reduced. And also, because of the offices are closed down, the ACs there also is not working. So, of course, the climate, the atmosphere is much fresh. And so, too much, and the urban lifestyle that we are into has also changed a bit. With we are waking up early, we are doing exercise, we are trying to eat natural ingredients like ginger and turmeric to make ourselves strong, to prevent ourselves from COVID. And so the urban lifestyle is also changing, and definitely changing for better. The society is getting something good now. While with people visiting these tourist places and also coming out of our houses has lessened down, what we have seen is that the wildlife has also rejuvenated, in the sense that they are now walking. We all have seen videos of Gujarat, Rajasthan, Delhi, that thing when the animals are coming out in the road and they are all walking so well. And they are now the king of the not jungle but of the road, and they are sitting in the middle of the road, they are enjoying. So they are also enjoying the nature, mother earth, and they are also happy, they are rejuvenating themselves, which is definitely a good point. Now also most of our restaurants are closed. Few are open, definitely, for last I think 2 weeks the restaurants are open, but previously the restaurant was closed. Even the food stalls which was there beside the the roadside food stalls are also also closed. So of course less waste material is generated. The plates, the plastic spoons that we used to have in the roadside stalls were also curtailed again. The restaurant used to have so much of waste materials thrown, so that is also less. Also, if you see that after we eat, we had a tendency of either having a bottle of cold water or cold drinks or something, which is also less now, because we are not drinking or having cold drinks, and we are not throwing that bottle on the road itself. So of course these waste material is less generated now. But on the other side, what you see is gloves and masks on the road. There are plus and minuses. So of course, I think over the time people will get used to of not throwing their gloves and masks on the road, and it will be better for us. Last is self-reliant. This is one very important and very nice, what should I say, concept and initiative of government of India is to make self-reliant. Hmm? This is the correct time for us to become self-reliant. It seems we can definitely survive on the products which are locally made and produced. It is to be encouraged, accepted, and more awareness should be generated among the mass to become self-sufficient and save our environment. Okay, this is my last slide, right? And the first slide which I showed was something between positive and negative, and I kept an arrow where it might be something which is something in middle. So this is the concept, which I have tried to think of. So I have presented that. Now, with this, all people losing their jobs, shortage of money, business gone down. It's a definitely a bad thing, of course, in economic terms. But again, then environment, nature, it's rejuvenating itself. So, in understanding good or bad, I have taken this middle path where I want to say that if COVID-19 wouldn't have been there, to teach people that you should, should be disciplined and you should respect nature, this wouldn't have been done. So the first one being the concept of a house at the countryside or some kind of a farmhouse. Many of us have that. In village we have a small house or a small area of land, but we never go there. We just keep it like that. But now this with this, people are going there, they are staying there, and they are having fresh air without any COVID-19 patients around them, and also you can have fresh foods there. So this is one thing which was very, 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 very good. And the next thing was gardening. You know, when uh, I think last year's December, January also, the apartment that I live, I have one house where they have huge, like one terrace full of flowers and trees and plants and many things. And I always said ki this one thing is gardening is definitely for retired person, and they are very good at it, because they are retired, they don't have work, and they are very interested in gardening or kitchen garden sort of thing. But now what we see is that is my mother is also having a bit of a kitchen garden. We have a small area, we have an open terrace, and we have planted so many trees and flowers. And also what you get is that if you plant something, you have small delights like small something, some curry leaves or some chilies might be, or some flowers which you can offer to god. So these are very nice aspects of COVID-19. And this has definitely increased a lot. So kitchen gardening has become an essential part of this lockdown. Next is hygiene. If not anything else, people have become more hygienic, and they have understood that good habits will keep coronavirus away. And most of us has learned these good habits in our school, but then as we grew up, we forgot, and we just went on ourselves without washing our hands, without uh, good hygiene habits. But then this time they have definitely learned that hygiene habits have to be kept. And the last one is patience. Patience is a very important aspect, while dealing with environment, sustainability, we have to have patience, or else we are facing the consequences now. So patience is a very important thing, and now I have seen that people are really, they are patient. They are in a line, they are not shouting, screaming, abusing people, beating up, people. But yeah, there are evidences where you can see that, definitely. But most of us are, we are mostly disciplined now, and we stand in a line and we take our things and stuff. So while finishing off, I would like to say that not everything is good, but what we can see is there are many negativities, and we have to deal with it. But as humans, we have to save our earth, our nature, environment, because see, 100 crore years before Earth was there, I'll die, and 100 crores later also this Earth will stay. So it is very important how human race will survive in this planet and Earth. Also, we have heard about Charles Darwin's survival of the fittest. So we have to understand who is fit to stay, because our Mother Earth will definitely stay. Now we are, I think, we are the ones who is not fit to stay. And of course, this lockdown is, it's a reimbursement of nature, of humans' materialistic point of view, and also it's time now to think that we have exploited enough of our natural resources. What we can give back to our environment, we have to find that out, and in doing so, we have to find something which is positive. So I leave you with that question, and thank you for patience listening. And I hope I have made my point. And Swati, it's up to
It's
you.
wonderful. It's wonderful. Thank you so much, first of all. And Madhurima, could you please unmute yourself? So I have some
I
questions.
have,
Yes.
yes, that is correct. Yes, wait. So I don't know. I have escaped, but nothing is coming on my screen.
Okay, I have muted you for some moments. Yes, uh, we have three questions from the participants. So one by one, I will ask, and you can deliver an answer. Okay, so you can just read from the chat box. From Swati Pandey, we have question number one. Yes, unmute yourself.
All right. Okay. Can you hear me now? Am I audible and visible both?
Yes, you are audible and visible.
Okay. Thank Okay, tell me. Yes. So this was, let me just say that this was my first attempt of, I have worked on sustainability and environment and policy making, but then I have not worked on how sustainability and environment could actually help in COVID-19 situation. So this was my attempt of you know trying to make something out of it. So yes, tell me now.
Uh, so from Swati Pandey ma'am, we have one question. Number one, how can we manage with the behavior of teenager children in this pandemic?
Oh, that's a that's a very very important and good question. I have a son who is 4.5 years old, and I am dealing with him. So, but then I think one thing we have to do is the last thing which I said is patience, and we have to understand. And the most important thing is that we cannot be counselors, right? We are parents. I know we have too much of pressure on ourselves, but we cannot be counselors. We have to listen to them. That is one thing we have to do, because their idea and our idea has hell and heaven difference. So what we have to do is we have to listen very with patience, with a lot of patience. We have to listen to what is happening, what is their problem, and we cannot act as counselors. Yeah. So I think that is my point of view. I think you all might have, because you have a teenager, so you are more mother than me. So uh, yeah, but I think we cannot be counselors. No, I'll not
Definitely.
until and unless that is reaching to a very high level, and where
Yes.
things are getting worse. We cannot be counselors. We have to be their friends, and we have to listen. We just have to listen. That is one thing we have to do, because they don't find anybody who they can say everything. So we have to keep our patience, and we have to listen.
Exactly, and thank you so much, Dr. Chaudhury, for this wonderful presentation regarding that how we can actually perceive in a both way, positive and negative. That is very important because sometimes we feel so depressed, so disheartened that what will happen in this pandemic. Even with small, like I have some colds and cough right now, and but in a sometime in my mind it's running that whether I am COVID positive or not. So because previously also we have small kind of cold and cough and it's very common things, but previously we were not so much worried about it, but right now we are so conscious that we have to take care ourselves and our families as well. So, as a teenage parents, what it's my suggestion that, as Madhurima rightly pointed out, that at least we can have some time for them, because in this pandemic it actually gives us the opportunity to be with family and spending some quality time. So that is very important for the teenage, that at least they have their parents who can actually listen them. So that is very important. The second question is from Firdaus Malik from Kashmir. What alternatives we need to live a sustainable life when people are less income or no income? What alternative?
Yes, yes, yes. That is a very, very good question. But you have to understand one thing first, is that I am not somebody who can actually help you in economic areas, right? I am very much into humanities, and but one thing which I would suggest is that in this time where, yeah, most of us do not have income, that is one thing which you have rightly pointed out. But how to be sustainable, and how to deal with that situation, I don't think I'm the right person that you are asking this question. I'm not really, I cannot really guide you in that, because without income, how can you be sustainable? That is definitely one very important uh, thing which I cannot answer you. I'm very sorry on that part. But let me just think over. Let me just have the third question, and let me just think over what I can give it to you. Okay, let me just give
Okay.
2 minutes of time. But
Okay. Okay,
let's just get into the
Madhurima.
third question, and let me
Madhi,
just think.
we have a couple of questions from Alberto. Alberto, could you please
Yes, please.
introduce yourself first, so we can have some idea about yourself first?
Hi, sure. Thank you for the great presentation and for inviting us today. My name is Alberto. I am from El Salvador in Latin America, but I go to college in between the United States and China to Duke University. I study environmental science and public policy. And I found this event on Facebook, so I was very interested and excited when I saw it.
Thank you so much. So we have a couple of questions from him. Okay,
Yes,
thanks for the
please,
great
please, please,
presentation. I have a couple of questions in this regard of COVID-19 and environmental relationship. Number one,
please.
do you consider that people's behavior will change as a result of current pandemic in ways that positively or negatively impact the environment? That is the first question.
Let me just answer that, and I'll just answer and take your questions. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
See, people's mentality is something which comes through awareness, right? If you make people aware of the stuff, because this is the time when people has to understand that it's high time that we should change ourselves, and we should go for the positive impacts and not the negative impacts. I'm not saying that for this lockdown, air pollution has decreased, but when the lockdown will be over, the pollution will be still decreased. No, it will increase, definitely it will increase. But then we have to understand that what this lesser pollution and what the pollution which was earlier there was impacting our life. So in this regard, we have to be more positive, we have to think in a more positive way, we have to make ourselves aware, and also the person on opposite to you, we have to make everybody aware for the positive impacts that this lockdown has given. And this, see, everything cannot stay, but then few of those can stay, isn't it? Few of them can definitely stay. So I'll say that awareness must be there, so that we might have that positive impact among us. The concerns should be there, so people have to be more logical. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Next question from Alberto. Will transitions to renewable energy be slowed or halted because of rock bottom oil prices and a need to get economies up and running as fast as possible after COVID-19 related shutdowns?
Okay, so that is also an question which deals with economy and that. But then I must tell you that there is no decreased prices on oil. The oil price that we have in India is 78 rupees. per liter. At least in Kolkata, it has 78 rupees
In
per
India, the
liter.
scenario is changed,
Not,
absolutely changed.
it has not changed and definitely not decreased, but it has
Yeah.
definitely. The last time when I went to my university, it was 74 or 72. Now it's 78. So you can see there is an increase of 4 to 6 rupees, right, in this lockdown period also. So nothing is decreasing. Everything is on the hike. So it's increasing. And I'm definitely not the right person who can guide you in the economic area of renewable energies. No.
Okay. The third question is, are there any case studies or real life examples of integrating sustainability into recovery and stimulus measures?
Into what?
Into recovery.
Into
Into recovery.
recovery. Acha.
Recovery and
Recovery and
stimulus measures.
stimulus measures,
I
recovery and
think that's
stimulus.
again related with economy.
Yeah, that is also related with economy. And I'll tell you one thing: you can go, you can definitely see that CSEP. It's sustainable efficiency. Sustainable efficiency. I forgot the last one, but it's SEP of Thailand. Yeah, you can just Google it and just see that that's a very good integrated form. You can it's
SEP, right?
SEP. It's in capital letter SEP philosophies.
Okay.
Sufficient economic philosophy. Yes, sufficient economic philosophy.
Okay.
You
Okay.
can
That's
Google that.
wonderful.
It's in Thailand, and it's the question that you have asked will be answered very well in that part. You can you can Google it.
Perfect. From
Yes, SEP.
another observation and question from Satyendra Pratap. Satyendra Pratap, sir.
Yes,
Environmental
yes,
degradation can be measured by analyzed, which was not possible before lockdown. Is it right time
yes.
to pressure government to make strong environmental saving policy, to pressurize government actually? And what should we do for this? So his question is,
Yes.
can we create pressure on government to take a strong environmental saving policy?
Yes, of course. I have always seen, if you, I have done mostly my work was on policies on South and Southeast Asia, and one thing you would understand, this is a very good question. I'll tell you one thing is that ki, you know, everything whenever we are talking about climate or environment, it somehow or the other gets related with economic development, and it's never basically alone, right? And whenever the policies are making, one has to understand the policies. When the government is making policies, they don't go to the grassroots level, and also not indigenous people, that they're asking ki what is good for you and what is good, not good for you. I'm not saying every point of theirs by every point of ours has to be taken into consideration, but one thing which you have to do is you have to listen, right? Ki this is good and this is bad. So while policy making, this never gets done. I sitting in an AC room, I make policy and I think ki, okay, this is good, but one has to change with this crisis and with this uh, you know situation around us. And we are struggling, many of us are struggling. So one has to understand, while making policies, these questions have to arise, and we have to see what settings and what kind of environment can we give for this environmental issues to be dealt with. But then this is one thing which is very important, which you have asked, and definitely this is the time when government has to think only of environment, only of sustainability, and it's not related with economic development. And if related with economic development, then of course the priority comes to environment and our natural resources.
That's wonderful,
Okay.
actually. And thank you so much, Dr. Chowdhury, for this wonderful presentation. And Dr. Aniruddha Burman rightly pointed out that, yes, of course, we would like to have one psychologist or counselor and how to deal that, especially who are working mom and who are working from home, particularly in this right now scenario. They are the most, I think, victim of this pandemic, actually. So I really,
Yes, yes.
I will definitely try my best to bring a counselor
Now,
and
I'll tell one thing, Swati. Let me just say one thing to sir. I can see you, sir. So I'll tell you one thing. there was one very nice, small cartoon where a lady is saying, work from home doesn't mean work from home. It means work for home.
Yes.
So,
Right.
so it is very interesting that this lady is standing in between and she's typing on a laptop, and the other hand she is cooking. So she's saying that it's not work from home but work for home. So of course you should get a counselor, and just, the pressure is really heightened. I have seen, so many of my friends that they are getting frustrated because their household help is not coming. They have to wash dishes, they have to work from home, they have to cook, and now they are frustrated. So COVID-19, yes or no, but I have to go out. That is one thing they are stressing now. So yeah.
COVID-19 is good for me. They're learning so many things. They learn so much.
So sir, I cannot hear you.
Uh,
Sir, I cannot hear you.
uh, am I audible now?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Uh, this situation has given me so much of opportunity to learn so many skills, and especially attend so many webinars by Dr. Swati. We have been friends in early. That is a very important aspect actually. Instead of whiling away our time, and if we wind up this webinar fast, because the cooking is on me today, so I have to get ready for cooking.
And I know Dr. Burman also had a wonderful session in the month of June. So if anybody would like to listen from Dr. Burman, we have the recording version in YouTube, and we have a YouTube channel for web platform for dialogue. If anyone would like to know about the particular session that Dr. Burman rightly pointed out regarding how to utilize this particular pandemic with lots of things like using WhatsApp, how to create a group, and how to utilize the new normalcy in the education sector. So he pointed out so many things. So I think let's utilize, and that's the reason I thought that let's have a forum like this. To We all are frustrated, we all are depressed in any of sort of reasons, maybe working from home, work from home, or any sort of reasons. But let's have a fresh air with this opportunity of a window, and with this window discussions. I think let's have a forum of our future research proposal and future research projects all together, maybe from Indian aspects, maybe from outside also, and maybe a comparative collaboration studies we can have in future. So that's the reason I thought that let's create a forum like this. And with this dialogue, I think we have opportunity to know each other with the boundaries, because physical distance is very, very important nowadays, and we may not have the opportunity to visit other countries in this particular scenario. So the physical seminars, conferences will not be possible. I don't think in a upcoming 1 year or 2 year it will be happen. But let's continue this journey, this kind of webinar series in our future collaboration projects. So we are almost at the end of our discussions. I really would like to know from Dr. Chowdhury that how the humanitarian aspects in this particular pandemic,
How?
how the
Can
humanitarian,
humanitarian
yes,
aspect? Yes.
how the humanitarian aspects would be encouraged uh, to the small children, that as they are very small, they are not being able to know that how to deal with this, because they are missing their friends, their peer group, they are not able to visit regularly to them. So how we can encourage them to maintain their sustainability in a very humanitarian way, and we can make their very very much very much ethically correct towards them. Because what previously we used to tell them, don't touch laptop, it's for working purpose, it's not for you. Don't touch smartphone, But now we are actually giving them the opportunity to use that. So, how about the ethical values to them? How to sustain this in a long run?
Let me just start by saying you one thing. The last day when my son's teacher was there in the other side of the laptop, she said that, son, you don't come to school anymore. The teachers come to your house, right? So this is something which, which was, I didn't know. The time I heard that, I remembered that thing, and I started thinking, ki, what all have changed. My son knows how to mute when, of course, their schools are in Google Meet, and he knows how to mute it, unmute it, speak, how to speak. So everything, it's so, you know it's so technically, we are binded, and talking about humanitarian ground, you cannot teach at this time ki what humanitarian is, because when you send your child, in the terrace to play, the other person's mother will say, don't go, baba. What he has in his hands, what does she has in his hands, she might touch you, he might touch you, problems will arise, don't play, don't go out. So ethically, I don't think this is, ethically, it's very difficult for you to make children understand what is happening. They are losing their interest, they are losing their capability of imagination, thinking, because they're always at home. They are always looking at their parents, looking at their grandparents doing the same stuff. And my son's school starts at 8:30 in the morning, and that first class is like a terror for him. What will the teacher say today? What will I have to do? And they have started writing now, and when they are showing that stuff, the writing portion that they have to copy it in their copy, that is the time he gets confused and nervous and starts crying, because he cannot see well in the laptop, right? However big the laptop is, it's not like a screen, it's not like the board that they have in their school. So that this and that is always very, distinct and clear. But in laptop you do not have that. Small, you cannot see, and the teacher is trying to show it in front, going back, moving out, coming in. So ultimately the child is unable to see. And on humanitarian ground, what we are doing is, we are doing the part that we should be doing, we are paying the fees, right? But then I am not blaming the teacher also. They are doing a lot of hard work, because in school they already have that stuff ready and they just show it in the slide. But now they have to go into classroom, they have to make slides, they have to perform, they have to, do more work. They have to paint, they have to do this and that in Google Meet. We are all, learning all this. I myself learned Google Meet and, Zoom and all that very recently. And now also I'm technically, blind most of the time. I don't understand things. So it is also difficult for them to understand. And, it's very important now to make your child understand, ki, see, at least for this year and the coming next 3-4 months, you have to deal with it. You have to understand that you are stuck with this. So you cannot move out, right? And you have to be more patient, you have to concentrate. This is too much of pressure for a child, and not only for a child. I'll also say that people who are, going into class 11 and 12, what I have heard is that they don't understand theories. A teacher teaching chemistry and maths and physics on laptop, it is so difficult that they do not understand. A one-to-one contact, that the warmth and the scolding that they get in school is very difficult. It's very good. But now what they are learning in laptop is very, very difficult, right? So, we have to, mend them, we have to make them understand, we have to give lot of caring, their immense amount of support to them, and listen to them, and do not lose your patience in doing so. So I think that is one thing, or that is the important thing that we have to do on a humanitarian basis. On ethical grounds, we have to make them understand. See, the first thing that their teacher said is that your teacher is coming to your house and you are not going. So,
Thank you so much.
that is
Thank you so much,
helpful.
Madhurima, and it's really, really wonderful that we actually came to know so many new things from you and with your presentation also. So we also feel very positive that let's face it, because we have to live with COVID-19 for some years, at least for this and half of the next year, as per assumption. We are not sure about this. So let's be very positive and let's go with this COVID-19, but with a very positive note. Otherwise, we may not able to survive in a long run. Uh, Depression, loss of interest, and this kind of thing will happen to us also any day. So yes, Alberto would rightly pointed out that I agree the situation has added an extra burden to parents. Yes, that's right, Alberto. Thank you. So here we are almost at the end of the discussions of our today's presentations, and wonderfully illustrated by Dr. Madhurima Chowdhury. And very last questions. If anybody would like to ask something, or okay, Dr. Aniruddha Burman would point it out that uh, okay, please think conducting a webinar for parents or caregivers of special children. Yes, special children's also we are thinking about that. Thank you. We can think about it. Dr. Burman, would you like to say something with that add-on with the sustainability and how we can think in a very positive way?
Yeah, as I've already said, it's a wonderful presentation by Dr. Madhurima. Really well done. She has covered most of the aspects, in fact. And things can be innumerable in any case. But the positive mindset is the most important thing. That is if you have a positive mindset, then we can really do a lot of things. Because most of us are basically being very lazy. We're just taking a time off because we don't need to go to our schools and colleges and our workplaces. So people are taking it easy. But one thing we have to be very sure that things are not going to change for better as of now. Maybe harsh days are going to come. So here onwards, if we look positive, if we learn a lot of skills, if we think of the patients are being treated like as if they are culprits or something. The health workers are being treated very badly. They've been turned out of their homes. So a positive mindset is extremely important in such circumstances. We have to be very understanding. The empathy is not the sympathy. The empathy, if we have, then we can really go forward. And thank you once again, Dr. Madhurima. You've shown lots of ideas. A lot of things have really come to the fore. Yes, gardening and all that, it does help. It does help. I do have a terrace garden myself. It does help to engage your mind, and once your mind is engaged, then you can really do a lot of things. So basically, as Dr. Swati was also suggesting, children are more given to now mobile games. It's been very difficult to draw them apart. Here, what we can do, we should think about this very seriously, because this is going to possibly not help them much. If we can show them better opportunities, I don't mind playing some mobile games maybe, but then that should not be the main thing. The studies have gone to the backstage quite a bit, because these online classes, whatever is being done with the schools, I mean, they are managing quite well in most cases, but it's not enough really. And the children, they just can't go out to play. That's the worst possible thing that can happen. At our age, we did so many, mischievous things outside, and we are being unable to go out simply. Even my grill gate is locked every day for 24 years, 24 hours. So if you can think of something more positive, give them more time, and show them how really to develop, I think that should help the children. That should also help us as parents. That is more important for us. Giving them more time, not as you rightly said, as Dr. Madhurima has rightly said, not work from home, work from home. You work from home as we say, we don't use the term housewife these days. We use the term homemaker. So let us all be homemakers. If we're all homemakers, then things will be easier for us. Life will be much, much better. Thank you. Thank you,
That's
Dr.
right.
Chowdhury.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. Dr. Chowdhury, it's our immense pleasure actually that you have accepted our invitation to be our speaker for this particular webinar series in July. And we are almost at the last of our today's particular session. So, would you like to say some concluding remarks by saying a positive note or something, quoting?
Sure. Why not? Why not? See, I have always been positive. I have given all kind of positive supports to everybody, to you, to my students. I have always thought that only positivity can actually, help, succeed you in life. Because other than that, we don't have much to do. Positive aspects are the only thing which we have for ourselves, and we can give it to everybody. And I'm really grateful that you have such great audience, and they were so patient, lots of patience, I must say, that they have listened to what I have spoken, and they have understood, and they have countered it. It was very nice, very nice. And thanks for inviting me, and thanks to you that you have thought that I am eligible for this platform to speak. So yeah, thank you all, and stay well, stay fit, and do good to others. That is what I can say.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you. Take care, all of you. Good night.
Okay, take care. Bye.